So the first thing, before I tell you the definition of it, can you draw line segment AB for me under concept 1 there? Can you draw line segment AB? We have a lot of practice in this. And now I'd like you to put a point M that looks to be in the middle of that line segment, please. Put a point M, what looks to be in the middle. And here's what I'm telling everybody. M is the midpoint of AB, the midpoint. So what power does it have now? All right, what do I now know about my diagram? A midpoint, ready? A midpoint cuts a line segment into 2 congruent parts. It's in the middle, hence mid. All right, it's in the middle. A midpoint is in the middle of a line segment. So it cuts the line segment into 2 congruent parts. So I'm going to ask you, honors kids, can you tell me something that is now true about my diagram? Now that I have told you something about a midpoint and what it is. What is now true about my diagram? John, go ahead. I like the word equal. I want you to go even further for it. We got a different word now. It is congruent. Good. So before I put it on the diagram, here's what we can conclude. Here's what Jana just said. AM, line segment AM. Remember the congruent symbol, equal with the tilde, congruent to MB. That is now what you can tell me because M is a midpoint. Not only that, keep going. What can I put on my diagram now to show that? Hash marks. Yes, the hash marks. So that's a midpoint. You now know if something is a midpoint, it cuts the segment into 2 congruent segments. Now let's put a little algebra on that. What do you say? A little algebra? Now put the application. AM is 2x plus 1. So I have 2x plus 1 here. MB, or BM, has a length of 3x minus 4. I want you to find a number length for AM, BM, and AB. A number length. Now, we did a problem similar to this a couple days ago, but we didn't know about midpoint at all. And here's what we did. And I'm showing you this. Don't write it down. I'm showing you this because I want you to understand it's not this way every single time. Here's what we did. We took one piece, added it to the other piece, and then set it equal to the whole thing. But guess what? What do you want me to put there? Do we know the length of AB? This is useless. Right? Everyone see, I don't know the length of AB, so I can't add them together and set them equal to whatever it is. I don't know! So don't force it. But I still need an equation from you guys to solve for x. It's not going to be that one. But now that we know that m's the midpoint, do you have an equation that you can set up for me? Oh, look at all these hands, huh? Go ahead.
Like 2x plus 1 equals 3x minus 4.
AM, 2x plus 1 is equal to MB, 3x minus 4. All right, so you got to use your knowledge of midpoint to set that up. It's not automatically going to be small plus small equals the larger one. It's not always going to be that. All right, only if you have enough information. Go ahead, solve for x, and then can you answer the 3 questions it asks you to find? And 2 out of the 3 answers should make a little sense. Everyone getting x equals 5? All good there? All right, now plug it back in, substitute like we did a couple days ago. And let's find what the length of AM is, the length of BM, and the length of AB. Give you guys a second. Six. Thomas, when you're ready, what's the length of AM?
11.
11, good. How about BM? Oh, shocker. We could have predicted that at the beginning because we were told m's the midpoint. So each side must have been equal. I'm not even going to ask the whole thing. 22. All right, are we picking this concept of midpoint up now? Yes? Okay, I get it. It's in the middle of a line. That's not what I want you to get out of it, that it's in the middle of a line segment. I need you to get out, it cuts the line segment into two congruent pieces. That's what I want you to get out. All right, by the way, can I take the midpoint of a line? What do you think? A line. You think I could find the midpoint of a line? Why not? They go on infinitely, right? There is no middle. Only a line segment. Only a line segment. All right. So what I want to do now is distance from yesterday. We did on a graph. Let's do midpoint on a graph now. Oh! Oh boy! You ready? First time all year. First class to get it. Are you ready? I gotta stop sharing because who wants to see the for me? Line segment AB, and see if you can find the midpoint. The point that splits it into two congruent segments. The cube. Energy's high now. Midpoint 14. Gianna, what do you got for me? When you're ready. 4, 4. Good work. Yep. Coordinate 4, 4 is in the middle and splits it into two congruent pieces. All right, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and graph CD and find the midpoint of CD. And then we'll talk, when are we going to run into a problem finally? Relax. And when you're ready, what's the midpoint of line segment CD? 6. Thomas, back to you.
3, -1.
Good job. 3, -1. Remember yesterday too? What? You good?
Yeah, but I'm the random that already exists. So 16 is.
You could have kept your mouth quiet and never been called on, huh? I would have never known. Respect. Respect. Where did we run into a problem yesterday, though? When we did distance. When it's diagonal. Same thing. We're going to run into a problem with midpoint when it's a diagonal line and I just can't count and go halfway. So just like distance, I have a formula for you called the midpoint formula. And just like distance, I'm not going to give it to you on Monday. So now you have between now and Monday to know the distance and midpoint formula stone cold. All right. Midpoint formula. X1 plus X2. We know what those are, right? Those are my X coordinates, same as the distance. But now we're going to add them, and because it's in the middle, divide it by 2. Cut it in half. And then for the y's, we're going to do the same darn thing. Y1 plus Y2 over 2. So there's the midpoint formula. Midpoint formula. All right, I just want to use it basic, and then we'll do it a little more advanced. Can you help me find the midpoint of AB with, ooh, how about fractions? Uh-oh. Who cares? You have the calculators that do everything for you. So let's find the midpoint of line segment AB using the formula now. So midpoint is equal to, can somebody give me my X coordinates to add up now? What are the X coordinates you want me to add? 10, go into math.
2.5 plus 3 1/4.
You got it. That looks nasty. Divided by 2. And how about the Y coordinates we're going to add up together? 1, Charlie?
-1 and 1/4.
Yep, 1/4 plus -1 or 1/4 minus 1. Same thing, divided by 2. All right, let's go to your calculators now and let's talk. I just learned this morning. Anybody know how you get that 2 or 3.5 in there? There's 2 different ways, but there's a much easier way than one out of the other. Anybody know how to get 3.5 in your calculator? Oh, I'm going to actually show you something, huh? Me. I'm going to show you something. All right. If you want to get the 3.5 in there, you got your division sign, you hit it. It's going to put the previous answer there. I don't want that. Hit it a second time. Do you see how just a regular fraction comes up? A third time, ding, ding, ding. There we go. So I can hit the division sign 3 times to get that mixed, what's called a mixed number in there. So 3.5. It's 3.5, right? No? Yeah. Plus 2.5. One job. Let's try 2.5. Plus, hit it 3 times again. 3.25. I'm on fire. 3.25. There we go. And then just take the 23 over 4 and make sure we divide it by 2. And there it is. Your answer as a fraction and as a decimal. Personally, I don't care what you leave it as, but please make sure you leave x and y in the same format, either fraction or decimal. Okay? I don't care what you leave it as. So 23/8, comma, and then go ahead and do your y coordinates for me. 1/4 plus -1. Now I only have to do the fraction template once. 1/4 plus a -1 divided by 2. -3/8, or the decimal version. So there's your midpoint formula to use. All right. Just like distance yesterday, that doesn't impress me. You can do just distance on 2 points or midpoint on 2 points. Here's what's going to impress me here. Midpoint of DG. Go ahead, draw DG for me. Go ahead and draw DG. And it says M is in the middle, right? M's the midpoint. And just get used to this. If M's the midpoint, go ahead and put the markings on right now. Just get in that habit. Oh, midpoint. Boom, boom. Hash marks. I know those are congruent. All right. M has a coordinate of -1,5. And D has a coordinate of 1,4. How about G now? Ooh, see what I'm doing to you? I'm giving you the midpoint, but what about the endpoint? Tell me something about M. Where is it? Other than it's at -1,5. Where is it? It's in the middle, directly in the middle. So whatever the distance is from D to M, it's the same from M to G, right? All right, let's go. What's the x coordinate for D? X coordinate. 1. So we're all at 1 on the x-axis, and I have to go to -1. Ready? How many units did I just travel to go from 1 to -1? 2. -2, right? Because I'm going to the left. So I just went -2. And where did you tell me M was? In the middle. So if I just went 2 to the left, how many more units do I have to go to get to G then? Another 2 to the left. Where am I now on the x-axis? -3. Easy. All right, I don't have any big mathematical explanation on how to get here. I'm just using the definition of a midpoint. So now I'm at -3. All right, let's go on the y-axis, everyone. Where am I to start on the y-axis? Where am I on point D? 4, and I got to go to 5. How many units did I go? Up 1. How many more do I have to go to get to G? Another 1. Where am I? 6. Boom. And this is all I would need to see for the work here. Up 1, I end up at 6. So there's point G, -3, 6. Now, I respect the fact that we are an honors level class, and you put in honors level effort, and you really want to know every single problem you do if you got it right or not. Is there a way I could check if that's actually the correct point G? You know point D. You think you found G right. What formula did I just give you? Midpoint. So use the midpoint formula and you should get out -1,5. So if you want to check to see if you got that endpoint right, quickly plug it into the midpoint formula and you should get the given midpoint. All good? All right, so there's midpoint. Are you ready to use that compass finally? And straight edge. Yeah. Here we go, kids. Here we go. Spin for you. All right, first thing I want to discuss. When should I use it? How do I know it's time to use the compass? Look at the directions, right? Look at the directions. See how it's construct. Anytime in the directions it said construct, that's when I want to pick up my compass. Because this year, we use the compass for what's called constructions. These are all called constructions. So anytime it says construct, I want to grab my compass. I want to put my compass down if it says draw or sketch. Draw or sketch means just pick up your pen or pencil in your hand and draw it. Just freehand it. All right? Do not waste your time if it doesn't say sketch. It doesn't say construct. So I'm going to start you guys out with the easiest construction we have all year. And that is copying a line segment. So look at the directions for me for the first one. Construct, which tells me what? Use your compass and straight edge. A segment that's congruent to the given one, which is AB. And label this one CD. What's congruent again? These should have the same length, right? Same length. But I don't want you to pick up your ruler and go, oh, hey, that's 7 inches. Let me make another 7-inch segment. No. Construct means you have to use your compass now to do it. So how do I make a line segment that's congruent to AB? All right, see the point I started out with there? Grab your straight edge for me. This is how we're going to do it. We need something to do this construction on. So what you're going to make for me right now off of that point is a line segment that is clearly longer than the one we're about to copy AB. So everyone, with your straight edge, make a line segment, draw a line segment that is much longer than the one we're copying, AB. And we are going to perform the construction on this segment that you just made. Just making sure it's longer than AB. That's all I care about. All right, now we're finally going to use that compass for the first time this year. Grab your compass. Go over to line segment AB, the one we are in charge of copying. And I want you to open up your compass to the length of AB. Do not make any pencil marks on it, please. Just open up your compass to the length of AB. And that's it. Hold it right there. Don't open or close it afterwards. Everyone have it? Open up the length of AB. Now come on over to the segment we just made. Put your compass point on the point you started with, or I gave you. And now you're going to make what's called your first arc mark. Make your first arc mark that goes through your line segment. Doesn't need to be huge, just needs to go through your line segment. And I know this is not the coolest thing, but we're done. Why are we done? AB is now congruent to this segment, which I've asked you to label what? Read the directions. Label it as CD. So C can go on the point I gave you. And where do you think D is going to go? Not at the end here. Where's D going to go? Right where the arc mark intersected, right? There's CD. So does everyone see how we just created a segment that's congruent to AB using our compass, not a straight edge to measure it? All right, well, let's finish this off the right way. How are you going to show somebody that they're congruent now? Hash marks, yep. If you ever wonder, I just do double because that's how I roll. You can do a single, it's fine. It's just how I roll. What class are we in again? Honors. What if I asked you this question now? Now that you know how to copy one over, what if I said, hey, could you make a line segment that's twice the length of AB? Look at the work you just did. You have one that's equal to it. How could I continue this construction to make one that's double the length? Okay?
Oh, you can start on B.
Yeah. Take my compass, which is still open to AB, but now travel over to point D and make that arc, correct? Anybody going to do it different? Anybody think about, I don't know, this is the other way too. I don't know if anybody was going to raise their hand and say, hey, start back at C But now do it in the other direction and draw the segment through that way. That's the other way that you could have done it. Yep. All right, just some thought, just some thought there because you're going to have to do that on tonight's homework. Any questions on copying it? Last thing we're going to do today. Remember that midpoint we've been working with all day today? How do I find a midpoint using my compass now? Ooh, how do I find the middle of a line using my... All right, you ready? Here we go again. Here we go again. You got lucky. Time for redemption.